Viewers, make sure like buttons have been hit. Please make sure that you are subscribing as well. And 2,500 people pretty much watching. So make sure you hit the like button. Get that done for us now. Quite a few of you have done it already. Waiting for a few more of you to get that locked in now, people. Obviously, a big game this weekend. I'm going to do the neutral on this first. What are you saying, Dan? Chelsea go to Old Trafford. There's new manager bounce. Chelsea kind of need a win. Lost to Liverpool recently, out of the Carabao Cup. So they're kind of needing a little bit of a win to pick up their spirits. How do you see this game going, Lawless?
Mate, this is so important for Chelsea. More so that I think the pressure's more on Chelsea. I think Man United, not necessarily from a points in the table point, but from a morale standpoint, you can afford to lose this because Ruud van Nistelrooy is taking charge. You lose this, you still feel like, well, Amarim's not coming yet. So, it is what it is. And you still ride the high of Ten Hag being gone, right? If Man United loses. If Chelsea lose, mate, you start looking at their run very differently. And from a team that looked like they could potentially comfortably get top four, and potentially break into the race, maybe they look like a team that you're battling for Europa League. Like it's so huge. But yeah, I do think Chelsea I have the edge. I mean, we talked a little bit before about the squads. They have got the better team. The players, they've got the better players. Manager wise, it's up in the air. Like obviously, both of them are probably equally experienced, Ruud van Nistelrooy and Maresca. Yeah, I give it to Chelsea, man. I just give the edge to Chelsea, but the momentum, the positivity, and the fact that it's Old Trafford, it's not as cut and dry as that. It really isn't, man. So I can't call it.
That's the main thing for me, Lawless, because like you're saying, bro, we've got the better team. You know what I'm saying? Right now in the league, we're in better form. You know what I mean? We've actually got a structure right now. The main thing we need to go over there to at Old Trafford, bro, is quieten the crowd, right? Very similar to what we did at Anfield in the first half. We quietened the crowd until Cole decided to be rash, right? Because it's all about the intangibles for this game. If we play our game, we will beat them. We just need to make sure that we don't get, involved in stupidity at the back, like Cole, making rash decisions. You don't do stupid things that's going to make the crowd rile up, because it's going to be a party over there, bro. Them sides on Sunday, they're happy. They're free. They're free at last.
It seems like, I feel like a lot of the fans, and Staffy and Terry will be able to correct me on this, but from my perception, that there are a lot of fans that go to games that seem to be Ten Hag in, the ones in the crowd. So I don't know how party.
And not Ten Hag in, their manager in. There's a section of fans that will sing any manager's name. It doesn't matter.
They weren't.
And that's also cultural for them, in the sense of Man United fans are so used to having a manager, and I'm talking about a bona fide manager who runs a football club. And this is almost something that I think United fans have got to get their heads around. And it's not a dig. It's just managers don't exist anymore. Everybody's a head coach, especially as most of the top quote unquote managers in England are from the continent. They're from Europe, some from South America and stuff. In those nations, as far as especially the top level, they've never been trained to be managers. They've always been head coaches, right? So it's the Man United fans will get behind, a lot of them at Old Trafford will get behind whoever is in charge, because it's just been ingrained in them for 140 years to get behind the manager. The fact it's Ruud and they know it's an interim period, you've got to understand the level of this is like this is like a John Terry or a Drogba managing Chelsea for a few weeks to get them through a period. It would be like, who could you pick for it'd be like the Canio coming in for a couple of weeks until your next manager comes in. Your fans at West Ham are just going to get behind that. So you are right, Don. You've got to do everything you can to keep Man United quiet at the weekend. I'm talking the players and the crowd, because I think it's going to be a raucous party-like atmosphere. You're spot on.
Yeah, 100%. I think you're going to come out, with a lot of energy, a lot of grit, and it's not just the fans that are fed up with Ten Hag. It's a lot of these players, bro. You know what I'm saying? As soon as you get rid of a bad smell and you feel like you can just express yourself and, you've got a different voice, like what Staffy was saying the other day. I heard what you're saying, Staffy. It's spot on, bro. You know what I mean? So end of the day, obviously, look, I'm still confident in my team that we're going to go over there and get something done. I was more confident with Ten Hag, of course, but I'm kind of obviously look, I'll be real in it. Yeah, it's annoying that Ten Hag's been sacked, but as a Chelsea fan, it will actually hit different. It will be a lot better for us if we manage to beat you without Ten Hag there, because then you can't be using the whole thing about it's Ten Hag tax and that. You know what I'm saying? I actually want to go out there, beat you guys, because to me, that is now a bigger test. We already had a test before going to Old Trafford. We haven't won there since 2013. It's been so long. And now we're going to Old Trafford, to a place that we don't like, where they've just sacked the manager that's been shit for them. You know, so if we overcome that test, bro, that's going to be massive for us. Massive for us. You know, and right now we're in touching distance with the likes of Arsenal and all these teams, you know. So that's only going to push us further up in the table and we keep moving, bro. You know what I mean?
You'll be in touch and distance with us if we win, because it's going to be at what, a 3-point difference, something like that. How many points are you ahead of us by? I think you're 17 and we have 11. So that puts us in touch.
If we beat you, we'll be 9 points ahead.
Yeah, it's a big game for us. And listen, it's on Rude right now to make this as easy and put Emram in the best situation possible when he comes in. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. You know, and on the game, I'm very confident going into the game. Which is something I could have said a few days ago. I always said that Ten Hag, honestly, to me, he's just a net negative. I think without him being a manager, we could have won more games than we did, let alone someone else being there for him. So after the game, obviously against Leicester, which the only thing I'm really taking from that game is not necessarily the tactics. I already know what these players are good for. I know what they're not good for. Let's be honest. Rude didn't change a lot anyways. He kind of just had, like, I think he made a couple tactical tweaks. The fullbacks just looked a little bit more advanced. He changed the personnel in the midfield. But the main thing to take out of that game was the confidence. And I think the way the game was such a goal fest and the players were like, they were literally laughing at certain goals they scored. It's just like they were just reminded, like, yo, we're actually not as bad as people thought we were. Like, we're not 14th bad. We're actually better than this. But for one reason or another, we couldn't show it. And I think a big part of it was 100% the manager, whether it's his tactics, whether it's the way that he just motivates his players, all that stuff. And I always said this, and people can laugh all they want. I see the chat already saying, oh, Staffy's confident. Oh, Staffy's this, Staffy's that. I've been saying this for a hot minute now. These players are a lot better than what this manager's been showing. And in a month or two, we will be having a different discussion. All these players that we're writing off from combined 11s and this and that, you will not be doing this in a couple months. In a couple months, we're not going to be guaranteed fourth or top 4, I should say. We're not going to be guaranteed anything. However, these players will show a lot better than they've shown. Because the way, and I'm not going to make much out of the Leicester game, but the way we didn't struggle for one moment against Leicester, but I've seen us struggle against Coventry. I've seen us struggle against lower league side, relegation sides, League One sides. I've seen us struggle against all types of teams. I saw FC20 come and play us off the park. I've seen Fenerbahce play us off the park. I've seen so many teams of Leicester quality and less play us off the park. Guess what happened? We had the crowd on side. Obviously, we had a manager that's not that. We had so many reasons to be a little bit better going into that game, feeling a little bit better. And it showed. All of a sudden, Bruno can score goals again. All of a sudden, our backline is not conceding all these chances against them. Our midfield wasn't getting ran over. Ugarte, who I don't like, showed me why we signed him, because he was all over that pitch. He was doing his best impression of N'Golo Kante. He was covering 70% of that pitch. He was just everywhere. Casemiro all of a sudden can shoot again. Why is Casemiro shooting now when he wasn't allowed to shoot under Ten Hag? Things like this. There was Dalot playing much higher up the pitch. Dalot actually getting a final third action leading to goal when he missed that open chance against West Ham.
That guy's a bum. I'm sorry. You're not going to convince me of Leicester. Like, they weren't even.
No, I'm not trying to convince you of Leicester. I'm just trying to remind you that these players can actually do the basics right. And we did the basics right so much that the game
was Leicester. Like, we have seen you bang goals in this competition, like under 10.
That is not true.
You want
me to give you a list? Hold on, let me give you a list of the teams that we struggle against. We struggle against FC20. We struggle against Fenerbahce. Last season, we struggled against Coventry. The only reason we won the FA Cup is because I forgot who was on offside. That guy, just because he had a size, I don't know, like 15 boot instead of 14. That's all. He didn't clip his toenails on the day. All right.
You beat
We struggle
Southampton
against
3-0. You
Newport.
beat Preston 7-0.
We struggle against who we played, Charlton or something. I forgot who we played. We struggled against much worse teams.
No,
I
I'm
was losing
saying that
4-0
we've
to
seen.
Palace.
No, what I'm saying, Staffy, is this game, it could be just like one of them one-off ones that we see happen under Ten Hag. Like I said, the Preston game, the Southampton game.
You got a point.
You have these games where you're dominant.
Okay, but what is the
at the-
coincidence that it happened the day Ten Hag left?
If
First game Ten Hag
I
left.
think it is a coincidence. I think it's a coincidence. I think this Chelsea game will be much more of an interesting test to see where these players are. Big game.
Of course, they're miles
Pressure.
better than Leicester. I'm not expecting the same thing.
No,
However,
but it's
I'm
like-
saying that
even if it was a
the
mid-table
both of the
team.
quality is not as much as you guys thought. Chelsea's team is good. They are not miles better than us. We have players that can turn up on the day, and I think we're gonna win. I'm gonna give you an early prediction. I think we're gonna win. There's a reason why there's been 11 years. Why these guys, by the way, they get Don is laughing, but they get rattled when they come to Old Trafford. It's we've seen it over the last couple of years. We beat them with McTominay last season. We were going through our worst period, and then we still beat these guys. I'm not saying that's the same Chelsea team, but they don't travel well to Old Trafford.
Don't let me remind you about that game, bro. What he was doing.
You
bro.
talk about poach tax, but I'm not allowed to talk about Ten Hag tax, which is
I
this
never
is the
I never
hypocrisy
said you.
that's
I never
going
said you can't. That's it. I literally said that in
I'm
my
not
thing.
saying
Staff.
you,
I said,
but
bro,
that's
I
the
said
hypocrisy going on YouTube right now.
no. I said it's annoying. I literally said it's annoying that we didn't get our goal as well. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get some. That's what I was hoping we're gonna get some. You know what I'm saying? But like I've said, for me, it will actually be bigger for us if we still manage to beat you without Ten Hag being there, bro. Because like I said, we're up against you and we're up against the crowd. You know what I'm saying?
100%. Listen, there's a very good possibility where you guys win. I'm not sitting here saying there's no chance Chelsea will win. If Chelsea end up winning, I won't be that shocked. I just fancy our chances now to win because I know I have players that can turn up on the day. I back the way that I think this team can play. Yes, again, it's just Leicester, but I saw more of it in that game than I've had all season, and I played all type of opposition all season. That's what I'm trying to say. My fullbacks are not as bad as they've been looking. My center backs are not as bad as they're looking. Even the front line, they're not as bad as they were looking. Our midfield is not as bad as they were looking. And I fancy my chances against you guys. I think there's certain matchups on the pitch where we can be better than you guys. Your back line is sus. I understand my attack hasn't been good, but I could get something off your back line. I see a mistake in your back line.
I like this comment here that says, because you beat Leicester, you think you can beat anyone. Let me just, well, I want to say this.
Said this?
But again, you haven't said that, but let's just say you did. Hypothetically, you said that. Man United under Ten Hag beat the best team in the world in an FA Cup final. Man United under Ten Hag have beaten at least once, every team in the Premier League? So it is not a weird statement for a Man United fan to say on an off game or on a one game basis. I think we can beat a Chelsea. I think we can beat a Liverpool. I think we can beat an Arsenal. This squad of players, the core of this group, have beaten everybody in the Premier League at one point in the last couple of years. So the idea that with a new manager bounce, a feel-good factor around the stadium, some of the players feeling maybe a little bit more positive about themselves, for it to be called crazy or to be laughed at or belittled that United could win this game, for me, is so intellectually dishonest. It is unbelievable. Staffy isn't sitting here and predicting United are going to win 4-0. Nor am I. I'm predicting a Man United win. I think we're going to win 2-1, something along those lines. Actually, I'm a liar. I think it'd be 2-1 at halftime. I think it's going to end up about 3-2. I think it's going to be a very high goal score. I wrote it down, what I was saying. I read the wrong thing. I think it's going to be a high goal scoring game. Chelsea have some mistakes at the back. Goalkeepers playing out from the back. A lot of the goals that, if you actually look at Chelsea, have conceded in the last few weeks have been more from mistakes and teams playing through them. And I think that's where we can capitalize. Do I think we're keeping a clean sheet? No. Chelsea's attack is too good, too quick, too potent, and I don't think we'll have the structure in place that's going to make us that difficult to break down. But I'm predicting a narrow Manchester United win. That is no disrespect to Chelsea. I'm not saying they're crap. I'm not saying they're overrated. I'm not saying they're rubbish. I'm not saying that half their players shouldn't be there. I'm not slagging the manager off. Even at the end of the game, it's going to be one of those matches. And we saw this with the Liverpool game from a different point of view, but I think the same sort of perspective is, even if you're the losing team, I don't think you're going to walk away from this going, I hate my team, I hate my club, this is so rubbish. You have to look at the scenario that's going around it. I think though, Man United will win narrowly 3-2. The game will be, in my
That's actually
personal
my
opinion.
prediction. Exactly.
I really need my team to be locked in, bro. Because before the Liverpool game, I said every single player needs an 8 out of 10 performance, and you all need to be locked in. Right? I can go back to that game. I can tell you, Cole wasn't locked in, bro. You know what I'm saying? You had tossing straight away, pulling back Jota. You know what I mean? There's a few players in that game. Palmer was Casper. I can't be having that again. Yeah. Yes, United are in the mud right now. You're still in the mud, whether you like it or not. Yeah, and you need to get out of the mud. You're making the right moves to get out of the mud. But we're a better team than you right now. We need to show that. We definitely need to show that the weekend, bro. I can't be walking away from Old Trafford with a draw or a loss again. Because last season we should have beaten you, and we made you look like a half decent team. You know what I mean? We need to win, bro. By all means, we need to win this weekend, man. I'm tired. I'm tired of you, lot, bro.
Do you think you will win? Do you think you'll go?
Yeah.
Do you think you'll get the job done?
Yeah, I predicted 2-1 Chelsea. You know what I mean? I predicted 2-1 Chelsea. Right now, I'm literally not predicting any clean sheets, Terry, because like you're saying, we've got Sanchez in goal, who for me makes the defense even worse than what it actually looks like. Right? I keep telling people, like, if you've got a goalkeeper behind you who's very shaky, the centre backs in front of them, bro, aren't going to be that confident a lot of the time.
How can you have signed so many goalkeepers and you're talking about your goalkeeper being such a weakness? That's a massive indictment, man.
You know what's so weird about this? You know what's so weird about this as well, Lawless, yeah? Because away from the distribution, Sanchez has actually been good in terms of his shot stopping, right? He's won us some points. He's actually won us games. I remember against Forest, they made some world-class save towards the end of the game. They could have won that game, bro. Against Bournemouth, he saved the penalty. So away from the distribution, I can't fault him. He's actually been good. It's just the distribution, bro. You know, constantly playing it through the midfield and it's getting intercepted. In the air, he'll try to play it to our players in the air. It goes off the pitch or it'll just go to the opponent, right? He's got no composure whatsoever, bro. And when I'm at the games, I see the players complaining at him all the time. You don't catch these things on TV. Yeah, the other day, Jackson was shouting at him. Palmer was shouting at him. Cole was shouting at him. It doesn't help the defense when you've got a goalkeeper that's just not stable. He just doesn't make the defense stable. Do you know what I mean? You need calmness from the back, and he doesn't provide that. That's why, for me, I think they'll score from a silly mistake. I don't think they're gonna cut through us. I think it'll be from a stupid mistake. But like what Terry said, we've just got too much firepower, bruv. Yeah, Lavia and Caicedo will most likely start this game. You've got Palmer, who obviously knows he had a shit game at Anfield last time. Last year at Old Trafford, to be fair to him, he scored, even though the system was all over the place, right? We've got players right now in form, bro. Jackson, for example, is in red-hot form. So we can definitely beat these guys. But like I've said, the back is what's going to make us lose the game if we do lose, bro. I don't think it's going to be the attack because right now we're quite good in front of goal. We're quite clinical in front of goal.